All right, welcome back to the channel. And on this episode, it was my son's birthday, and this is his 97 or 99?
97.
97 Ford Ranger. Purchased it with his own money, and I bought him a couple of birthday gifts so we can work on upgrading this. So we've got a couple of off-road lights, and gonna do a little bit of a headlight restoration and upgrade the tape deck player, which this may be the first tape deck player he's ever seen. Gonna upgrade that to an Oto F7 Android head unit, so with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on it. So we're gonna jump into it. I think we're gonna start with the headlights first, and then maybe move on to the off-road lights.
This it's so small and petite.
So here's what they look like before, and now here's what they look like after. So I picked up this off of Amazon. I will throw a link in the description for that. I think it's something like 10,000 lumens between the 20-inch that's going to go in the center, and then the two little pods that go at the base of the A-pillar. I don't know if you trust the 10,000 lumens, but it was a reasonable price, and at least get the job done for this little truck. It's not a four-wheel drive anyway, so he won't be doing a bunch of off-roading, but it should add light when he wants it and make the truck look cool. The center 20-inch bar is going to go, we're just going to mount it to the top of the bumper. So taking some measurements so we can get it centered, and we're going to drill a couple holes and attach it there. The kit doesn't actually come with Riv Nuts, but we're going to go ahead and use some Riv Nuts on this thing just to make it a little nicer, and then squeeze it together while you kind of push down on it. Light bar mounted in the front, and instead of doing at the base of the A-pillars, we chose to do the bed of the truck so it'd be functional, because there's really no bed light. Let me walk around and show you those. So my son's putting in the finishing touches on that side, but we've got one in the corner over there, and then one in this corner shining down into the bed, so that if he wants to light this thing at night, he can. I picked up this Oto F7 WE for his birthday, so we're gonna get this tossed in the truck. I've had good experience with this in my F250. I really like it. It seems to work really well, so I'm sure he'll enjoy it. All right, time to get this old radio out of here. We got that pulled out. There are two screws that come in from the bottom of the bezel here that hold this on, and it just snaps out. And then the head unit itself is actually attached to the bezel, so it just kind of snaps out from the back of this thing. So we'll start pulling out the radio and figuring out how to shove it back in here. All right, we got this little adapter harness. I'll throw a link to Amazon for that. All wired up. The original car, because this is an older car, doesn't actually have constant battery power. So we hooked into the 12 volt for the cigarette lighter, because that actually does have constant 12 volt even without the key on. So we hooked into that. Next we got to run a microphone and the reverse camera and hook up the antenna, and then we're going to have to make some modifications to the front cover in order to get this thing to fit. Pretty minor, but we'll have to make some modifications. This project has gone on a little bit longer than I would have liked. I have ordered 2 separate sets of dash plate kits that are supposed to work on this 97 Ranger, and neither of them have worked, so I've resorted to kind of figuring out how to mount this myself. So we started, I knew I was going to have to trim this anyway because it was too tight to actually fit in this hole. So we started with trimming out, see if I can get the bottom lip of that. I don't know if I can get a good angle there. Yeah, it's really hard to see. Maybe you can kind of see it right there. The bottom lip, this edge used to continue straight across the bottom flat, and we've trimmed out probably 3/4 of an inch around the bottom. So let me slide this in here and show you what this looks like. So that's what it looks like inserted in. This row of buttons is just a little recessed into the bezel, but not bad. And it's flush across the top. There's going to be a little bit of a gap along the sides. You probably won't be able to see it much when it's in the car, but there will be a little bit of gap. And then on the back, you can see where the radio kind of interfered with the bottom of the bezel that we had to cut out. The problem with the way it's sitting in here now, it actually is almost a pressed fit. It's pretty tight in there until you start pushing on the buttons on the bottom, and then there's nothing holding it from pushing it backwards. And the OEM radio actually mounts to this bezel. There's no frame inside the truck that the radio mounts to. It just clips into this bezel. So I'm working out a way to hold this to the bezel so that it doesn't push back. And what I've kind of started working on is a couple of just pieces of spare sheet metal that I had sitting around. Cut some little brackets out of it. I am going to screw it to the side of this where you would normally screw the mounting plates. And then I need to trim this up a little bit, but this object is going to be to fold this over and then probably just a single screw hole through here. You'll see the head of the screw, so I'll try and make sure that the screw is a black one, and then this will kind of make a U shape come out and then down along the outside of this, and then that will hold this steady to the bezel. And there's the little brackets I bent up. I put little holes on the outside so I could screw them into, go through the outer edge into the radio. And then just a single screw with a little 10-min clip on each side. And it's pretty in there solid. I can kind of push on these buttons pretty hard and it's not moving, so it feels nice and secure in here. We should be able to throw this back in the truck. Got the backup camera installed, and it is wired into the reverse light on the driver's side tail light, and then run up the side and into the firewall by the clutch and into the radio. Screen's kind of dirty, but everything is all buttoned up, and aside from the little screws and the gap here, it fits nicely in there. Looks almost factory. And then we've dropped the pigtail for the screen mirroring and the charging down below. So, looks pretty good. The next thing we're going to tackle is this brake release lever. I've already removed the bracket from it, but the end of this is knurled, and it just has a plastic piece threaded on there, and the plastic lever broke off. It was like that way when he purchased it. So we are going to take a die and just thread the end of that, and then I'm going to weld together a little T, and we'll just thread it on here, so it'll be a metal handle instead of a plastic handle, which should be more durable and should function just like we need it to. So now that we got this off, we're going to throw that die on there and put some threads on it. All right, got some threads cut in that. So now I'm going to weld a little piece together to make that handle. And there's the finished result. Well, not completely finished. We'll get it painted, but it functions as a lever. It may not be exactly what was there before, but it'll work. All right. Well, this was a fun little project with my son and his new truck. We got the headlights done and the light bar and the emergency brake and the radio and backup camera and everything. So everything turned out pretty nice. He's gonna go forth and enjoy it a lot. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.